You're listening to the morning briefing with Friedman.
First tuna today.
Here's the heart.
So you have to eat the heart. It's tradition. Atta girl. Atta girl. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Todd Woods, everybody. Todd, thanks again.
Right now. Playing about. Nice fish. Great time too.
Yeah, Chase.
Woo! Made great time on that one.
Yeah, big guy. Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California on this gorgeous morning. It is a Wednesday morning, and it couldn't be any more beautiful than it is here today. Yeah, it's overcast, but man, there is no wind. That ocean looks absolutely beautiful. Surfers are out with their kids, and it's just another lovely day where we have to feel blessed to live here in Southern California. Man, there's a lot going on. There's some yellowfin tuna so close to San Diego that it's going to blow your mind. More albacore and big eye tuna up in the northern sector, and we continue to see good evidence of both yellowfin and bluefin around San Clemente Island. Fishing right now in Southern California is outstanding. And you know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. I needed that. So good to be back with y'all. Hey, if you don't mind, hit that like button. It really helps us a lot. Share these videos with a friend. Tick that bell. You'll be notified when there is new content, and leave a comment down below. We always appreciate hearing from each and every one of you. And also, don't forget, Independence. We have a 5-day trip. It's going to be something special. I'm telling you, it sails on October the 20th. I'll be there filming the entire event, and it's going to be so much fun. You can book by going to independencesportfishing.com or give their office a call and find out more. $2,250, 5 days, the food, the boat, the crew, the fishing. What can I tell you? This is going to be one heck of a Friedman Adventures trip. I can't wait to do that one. All right, we've got so much to talk about. Let's go south of the border and talk about what's going on in Ensenada, Baja California Norte, because there still is some outstanding fishing. We've been telling you about the flow of fish headed up this way. Yesterday, one-day boats out of San Diego, boats in the morning, come back in the evening. Spectacular fishing. I'll get into that in a moment. The day before, very poor fishing. And I said to you, when that day had concluded and it was poor, don't worry, those boys are going to get back on it. There's more fish moving up the Baja Coast. Brad Phillips, who's down there in Bahia Tortuga, Turtle Bay, said, man, there's all kinds of yellowfin. There's all kinds of dorado pushing up. And I said, I thought we might be in between waves. I just didn't know the tsunami was going to hit yesterday. It was awesome fishing, and same thing down in Ensenada. If you can find the right school of yellowfin tuna, or find the right kelp patty with some dorado or some yellowtail on it, man, you are going to be slammed. And the grade of yellowfin that is moving around is really and truly remarkable. Beautiful, 18 to 25, some up there 45, 50 plus pounds. Beautiful grade of YFT around Ensenada. You don't get them every single day. You know, I mean, sometimes you just don't get that jig strike or find those turns. A lot of these are turn bird fish. In other words, you see a turn dip, and that's an indicator that there's a lot of yellowfin tuna in that zone. Guys have been doing very well, but there's some misses. There's a lot of misses. And then you drop back into the Ensenada local area, and there's still a lot of bonita around. There's some yellowtail. There's great calico fishing around Punta Banda. There's still a little bit of arcuda hanging out, some sand bass hanging out. Pretty darn good down there. And I just love driving across the border, making that 70-mile or so drive down to beautiful Ensenada on that picturesque Baja Coast. Man, when you come out of TJ and you start heading toward Rosarito, and you look out and you see the Coronado Islands, man, there is nothing like Baja hospitality. Hope you get down there really, really soon. All right, we'll jump you over the border here into Gringolandia. And here in the United States, we are seeing really outstanding fishing. Let's start with the day boats, because 2 days ago they had a horrible day with just picking a few fish. Yesterday, it was au contraire. It was so wide open. It was ridiculous fishing. In fact, I talked to Captain Sean Hardigan late last night, early this morning again. And man, Sean, who runs the Mission Bell out of Point Loma Sport Fishing, said, Phil, it's as good as you could possibly want it. They had 80 yellowfin tuna yesterday, very close to home. Some of this fish 10 miles from Point Loma, some of it 20 miles from Point Loma. I mean, it's right there. You can get all over it, and it's really fun fishing. In fact, Patrick Harnjack from Montana, he is a Friedman Adventures family member. Patrick said, Phil, I got to tell you something. Man, oh man, we were on the American Angler. We left at 11 a.m., pointed our bow toward San Clemente Island. We were catching yellowfin tuna an hour later, just from leaving Point Loma. So there's some incredible stuff going on right now, and it is biting nails. I've been talking about dropping down to 20 and 25 pound. Man, it's pretty big, great fish. It's mixed up with some 50-pound stuff. If you can get away with the 40, and the boys did yesterday, they were getting bit on the 30, the 40. Some guys getting bit on the 50-pound fly line bait. Choosing a good hot bait makes all the difference in the world. Fishing fluorocarbon will give you a big, big bonus, a big benefit. So remember, www.optionusa.com. That also can really help you catch fish. Fluoro, changing that bait regularly, choosing a good hot bait in the first place. A lot of fish local there, really good fishing. I don't know if it's because the boat pressure came off. I don't know if new fish moved in, but it is absolutely spectacular fishing going on down in that neck of the woods. San Diego leaves in the morning, comes back to Seaforth that very same evening. 105 yellowfin tuna, tremendous fishing, 5 bluefin, a couple of Dorados. Sea Watch out of Seaforth Sport Fishing, 62 yellowfin tuna for Dorado. We mentioned that the Mission Bell had 80 on the Malahini. Our good friend, Captain Bill Wilkerson, H&M Landing, only 11 guys on board. They end up with 50 yellowfin tuna. One of those anglers was our very own Scott Buchert. And Scott had 8 fish, something like that, 9 fish. I think Scott said it was great fishing. And Scott said, man, they had some bites on 50 pound. Some of those bites were absolute rippers. So that is such great news, and so good to hear that that stuff bit so well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to bite again here today. And we're not done with these waves. Remember, we're in this El Nino year. We're seeing all this warm water, and all these warm water species walk up the Baja Coast and push in to our waters here in Southern California, and it's phenomenal. You're going to have yellowfin tuna crawling. I mean, there's already fish here, but you're going to have it crawling all over here as we move into the fall. It's going to be one ripper fall. By the way, tonight we'll be on board the Amigo 2-day trip. Can't wait to see you all on that one. I'll have some tackle recommendations for you in a moment, so don't go anywhere. In fact, those tackle recommendations will go for everybody. It's pretty much bring the kitchen sink, but the nighttime bite has changed a little bit in terms of what you're fishing with, so I want to keep you apprised of all of that. All right, we talked about the American Angler and our friend Patrick, who's on there. They kept going. They didn't want to hang out in that local area. They want to get to San Clemente Island area and fish that fish. They get into a really long drift, plunker kind of bite. Never got wide open. In fact, on that first day when they got into it, it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they drifted till about 8 o'clock. They ended up with 20 bluefin and 15 yellowfin tuna for their afternoon yesterday. And a lot of that fish around San Clemente Island was 40, 50, 60-pound fish eating the heavier Opsin fluoro, or not Opsin, I mean, pick your own fluorocarbon. We love Opsin. But using fluorocarbon, and man, I'll tell you, fly lining a good hot bait on 40-pound was a good way to get bit, but other guys were doing it on 60-pound, and it's really not bad advice to do that. And I'm talking to you guys who are on the Amigo tonight also. Be ready to fly line with some heavier stuff. Last night, it was slow for the American Angler, and he said that he talked to several other guys who had a similar kind of night. There was a lot of current. We'll see if that fish is going to bite again here this evening. In fact, we may be on that fish here this evening. But one thing Patrick said, he said on their trip, it was only the 120 to 180 gram jigs that were getting bit. So the low profile shiny jigs at night were the ones getting bit. And I've heard that from other guests. You've also heard from Jacob over there on the Pegasus that anything with red in it has been exceptionally hot when you're fishing at night. You don't want to fish anything less than 100-pound spectra at night, 200-pound leader. You can hear that now you got to have all those different kinds of jigs. We've been recommending Daiwa's Akanas in the 100 to 150 gram range, and then also I would still bring my heavy stuff, that 300, 400 gram kind of jigs. You just never know. Mixed up with that bluefin tonight are some really big fish, and the fishing out there is still really excellent, no question about it. Pacific Queen, limits of bluefin tuna on a recent trip. That's 150 on the BFT. Spirit of Adventure, 144 on the bluefin tuna. Ranger 85, 100 on the bluefin tuna. Voyager limits of bluefin tuna. Polaris Supreme limits of bluefin tuna. Man, pinch me. I'm telling you, we're living the dream here in Southern California. And we get all concerned when we get down around 40 fish for the day. Man, that was a tough day. Only 40 nice bluefin and yellowfin. Of course, I'm being facetious. It has been a spectacular year that is only going to get better. I want to take you up to the northern sector, up to Fort Bragg, California, where that albacore bite sizzles, and it continues to sizzle. It's all about weather windows up there. They have some nasty weather up there in that area, and so when you get a weather window and you can get up, you can really put the wood to them. And I'm telling you right now, it's flat good. Good buddy, a member of the Friedman Adventures family, is Jens Meyerhoff. And Jens was out yesterday and he had flat, wide open albacore fishing, 45 on the albacore on his private boat, and a 110-pound big eye tuna. Jens, thanks for sharing that. That is outstanding fishing, man. Am I jealous or what with all your longfin out there mixed with it? Those big eye tuna. Are we going to see big eye tuna here in our local waters? It would not surprise me one bit as we move into the end of summer here and start to look to the fall. That's when you see those BETs show up typically many decades ago in San Diego. You get the feeling that the state record is going to fall one of these days. It's 241 pounds. A couple of guys have just missed on it up there in that area. So really great fishing going on up there in Fort Bragg. Albacore and a smattering of that big eye tuna. That is really outstanding what's going on up there. So we've got yellowfin tuna close to Point Loma in San Diego, bluefin out towards San Clemente, and we also have bluefin tuna up in the Channel Islands that just put their noses in the mud yesterday. They didn't want to make any kind of a showing or bite. You saw the fish, it's still there, but it just didn't want to bite. The Aloha Spirit put in a really tough day looking around. So did everybody else in the Channel Islands looking for that bluefin tuna yesterday. You know, some days they just stick their nose in the mud and they don't want to bite. And of course, all those guys up there are so fortunate in the Channel Islands because they put in a hard day of looking for that and they go, you know, we got about an hour left. Let's go limit everybody out on bottom stuff. And the Aloha Spirit and several other boats were able to do that. So you get to go home with some of the finest eating fish in the sea. You give that bluefin tuna thing a hard look, and then you fall back on some really excellent rock fishing as we do on a regular basis up there. Don't forget about my new channel, Walk with Phil. If you want to get healthy, you want to go out for a walk, you want to talk to a guy who's made all the mistakes you can make, and follow me on my journey right now on the carnivore diet. Who knows what it'll be tomorrow or next year. Please go to Walk with Phil on YouTube and check it out. We're just starting to crank up. Next week, we will be starting daily videos, and I think you're going to like what you hear. There's some valuable insights from a lot of people. One of them, Dan Lighthouse, who was on a recent trip on the El Patron. Make sure you check that video out. You want to see some good calico bass action at Catalina. Anyway, Dan has gone on the carnivore diet, watching what I was doing. He started to copy it. He's lost a tremendous amount of weight. He's off his diabetic meds, and he's doing really, really good. All right, I digress. Let's talk about islands. We'll take you down south of the border. Todos Santos, we kind of mentioned a few yellows. Bonita, a little bit of barracuda, good calico. Bass fishing, Coronado Islands, nobody in their right mind is fishing the island. There's a few yellows and good calico fishing there, but everybody's on that yellowfin tuna here this morning, and hopefully they are all over it finding those turn birds and making it happen. Really great fishing there up here at San Clemente Island. Nobody in their right mind because you got bluefin and yellowfin and everything else. A lot of marlin around, by the way. In fact, we are on the El Patron and we are right tight to the island fishing calico bass, getting ready to go into the kelp line. And there's a tailor that goes by, a marlin, a striped marlin right next to us. Pretty interesting stuff. So a lot of great stuff. Brian Perez spotted that one. Brian, good morning to you, my friend. Hope to see you again really, really soon. Catalina Island, a little bit of bass over there, rockfish, you know, that kind of a thing. Seems like you hook a yellow or see a yellow almost every single day. Nothing wide open. Channel Islands, plenty of rockfish up there in that area. Start us with great rock fishing. We still have a shot, as I have been telling you, at the bluefin tuna up there in that area. On the coastal areas, we continue to catch some calico bass. Not bad at all down toward San Diego. They're picking at the bass. Remember, if you want to catch more calico bass, in most cases, you're going to drop down to 12, 15-pound tests. In that kelp that we were fishing at on the El Patron, you had to lob your bait back into the kelp. So you got to get that fish out of the kelp. So a guy by the name of Terrence was fishing. He had a limit of bass. He was red hot. He was fishing 30-pound. But in most cases, especially local bass, drop down, choose a good hot bait, change that bait regularly. We see some good bass fishing there at Oceanside, Dana Wharf, sport fishing. We continue to see fish right offshore from there. I'm talking about bluefin and yellowfin. That's only going to get better. But along the coast, we continue to see a little bit more bass here in the LA Orange County areas. That's starting to kick back into gear. Our water's trying to clean up. We still have some of that off-color, red tide looking stuff around, but a lot cleaner water in many areas. Marina del Rey, we've seen some great sculpin, whitefish, bass fishing. Same thing up there for some of those Channel Island boats. Up there in Santa Barbara, they've had some good bass fishing also here recently. There is bluefin and yellowfin and 3/4-day boats out of LA Orange County, out of Newport, out of Oceanside. All those guys have a shot at that. Some days it bites, some days it doesn't. Many times it's a plunker bite and the fish are very finicky. That's when you're dropping down to 25-pound fluoro. Some guys will drop down to 20. Smaller hook like a number 4 size circle hook, number 1, number 2, something like that, and working hard at it. Other times the light switch just gets flipped on and it gets absolutely crazy. But boats that are fishing out near San Clemente, and I mentioned San Diego, all these guys, you know, the Fury, he's had some great trips lately out of Dana Wharf sport fishing. Out of Davies Locker, you got the Thunderbird. Of course, we'll be on the Amigo tonight. You got the Freedom. All of these guys, the El Dorado, are within range of that fish, and it is looking so good. So good. I don't like what happened last night, but it's a little blip on the radar, at least for the American angler. There were some guys that conked them last night and had some good fishing, but a lot of tougher bites last night. It's just one of those things. I mean, same thing on that local area in San Diego. One day it's down, and then it comes roaring back like it's going to roar back for us on the Amigo on that 2-day trip. Remember, bring the kitchen sink for that trip, guys. Be there tonight no later than, I want to say 7:30. We're going to try to get out of there at 9 p.m. tonight. We've got dinner for you in the Friedman Adventure studio. So come by, have dinner, relax, and we'll get out and have some fun this evening. All right, in the surf, we see way more corvina biting right now. There's good yellowfin croaker fishing up and down our coast. Bolsa Chica's been good here. Surfside, we're starting to see some nice spot fin fishing up there near the Topaz, Rock Jetty, and Redondo. Good corvina fishing, light line, fishing a sand crab or some other kind of bait, like the kind of bait you can get at Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, right there on the corner of PCH and Seal Beach Boulevard. They have got all the baits and tackle you'll need to be successful in surf fishing. And the great thing is they're located near some of the best surf fishing spots in Southern California. Don't forget, they also have your big game tackle needs. You can get everything there. Big Fish Bait and Tackle, Seal Beach, California. Make sure you drop by and say hi to the guys really, really soon. All right, my friends, Walk with Phil. Don't miss it. I want to see you over there. Subscribe to that channel. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate all that you do for us here at Walk with Phil and with the Friedman Adventures YouTube channels. Really appreciate it. And I'm telling you, man, there is some awfully good fishing. It's a gorgeous day here today. Don't miss our trip on board the Independence, a 5-day trip. Make sure you give them a call today or visit their website, independencesportfishing.com. We sail October the 20th for a 5-day trip. great to be with you all. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon. Have a great day, my friends.